Hi everyone and welcome back to our channel. So we're struggling a little bit with lighting today, so bear with us. Plus I did something to my phone. I did a software update and I have no idea.
Trying to get used to it.
What's going on right now. Yeah, my name is Jessie. This is my husband, Benjamin, and we have this channel. We do all things lifestyle, wellness, just anything that we want to share with everyone. So today we're actually going to talk about a challenge that we're putting ourselves through next month, which is
going vegan for October.
Yeah. So we kind of wanted to take you through why we're doing this, what made us come to this decision, how we're planning to do it, and what we're kind of hoping to get from it. So, you want to jump right in?
Yeah. So why don't we start with why we're doing it? Why are we doing it?
I don't know. For me, I have been following a few different vegan YouTube channels, Ellen Fisher, Eat, Move, Rest, and I just started following, I don't remember her name, but she's got amazing vegan food. I've just always been very inspired by it. And we kind of just decided that, I don't know, I feel like food for me hasn't been exactly working the way I've been eating it. I haven't been craving meat. I had one of my last doctor appointments or doctor things. I was put on a keto diet and I was really struggling with that. And I'm just not craving meat. And every time I eat it, I don't like it. And so that's kind of what sparked the idea for me, at least.
Yeah. And also probably for the past year or two, we've been eating more plant-based in general. I have specifically, Jessie's kind of been just doing what she needs to based on what her health practitioners have been giving her. But for me, I shifted, I was heavy carnivore before and meat for every meal, 3 times a day, if not more.
Bodybuilder life, dude.
Yeah. So I've shifted out of that, through my own health issues and just kind of intuitively, I felt like I needed to go to more of a plant-based diet, which really just means more nutrients. So that was kind of we've shifted into that a little bit. And because of Jessie's feelings kind of in being pulled in that direction, we're just why don't we just go all in for a set period of time and see how it goes and how we feel, how we like it, all those things.
Yeah. I mean, the conversation for us literally was I was why don't we just try to be vegan for October? Benjamin was okay. And that's kind of what happened a week or two ago.
Well, and to provide context as to how that was so easy is I feel we've had so many conversations this year about we have a meal and we have meat in it, but it doesn't add anything.
Yeah.
The way that we've made the meal,
we're
the flavor and all this stuff is all
says to.
Yeah. Right. So this is kind of we've been playing with the idea of what if we didn't eat meat? What if we didn't eat meat? So this is Jessie was why don't we just do this 30-day thing? And I was okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So it's also for me, Benjamin had said, he's been eating more plant-based just in general. Whereas I've been struggling a little bit more with that. Even when I'm not eating meat, I feel I'm still eating more starches or rice or things like that, which are technically vegan. But I want to kind of get into eating more plants. I don't really love fruit as much, so trying to get in a little bit more fruit, trying to get in more vegetables and just learn how to do that. And even if we don't continue to be vegan, which I'm not anticipating that we'll be, I'll kind of have that mentality of how to actually add more vegetables and fruits to my diet versus only meat or a starchy carb like a potato or a pasta, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I feel that's so much of a challenge. The idea behind it is to shake things up and do something that you're not normally doing.
Yeah.
And that it's not necessarily if you're gonna go full vegan like forever, then obviously that's something you continue on, but rarely is a challenge something that you continue sustainably. So yeah, I feel like this is the way that we're using it because we have talked about this for so long, and we have like toyed with the idea of like, what would that look like? How would we feel? This is just our way of being like, okay, well, we haven't done it at all so far, so why don't we just like force the issue, and again, for a set amount of time, and see what happens.
Yeah, and I think for us too, I know that the online space in like the vegan community sometimes can be very welcoming, or it can be very critical, and we're kind of just looking at it as like, we're just trying it out. We're calling it vegan because we're not eating anything that is not plant-based, but we haven't like made a decision to become like a fully vegan anything. I think for us, it's more just trying to eat more plant-based food from the earth versus like just focusing on getting meat in every meal or something like that. This is just the way that we're planning to do it. I will say I have always felt a pull to be more vegetarian my entire life. I have always been like an animal lover, and remember like certain things that happened when I was younger. There were like cows that lived across the street that I loved, and I would go and like see every day, and they like butchered them on the property and then tried to give us the meat for it, and it was just like devastating to me. And I remember I was very young. I had to have been like 10 or younger, and I just like, when I put the realization together that like that cow that I used to talk to every morning when I was waiting for the school bus, we don't need to talk about how weird I am that I'm talking to cows, but like is now like trying to be sold to me to be put in my freezer. Like that, it was just really hard for me. And I've also just really struggled with it in general. I know where meat comes from, but this is one of those things that I've always had to pretend like I don't, because I really struggle with how negative that side can be, just how animals are treated, and the fact that I'm eating something that was killed for me. And I understand like evolution and like, or not evolution, but like I understand where everything comes from, but it's just always been something that's kind of like tugged at my heart, and I've really struggled with it. So I thought this would be like a good time to kind of challenge that too, and see if that's something that's actually more important to me than I thought.
All right, so we've kind of talked about it a little bit, but should we jump to what we're hoping to get out of this?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, go ahead.
Really, it's just like trying something different that we've kind of been toying with the idea of, and see how we feel. Like I already said this, but this is like really all we're hoping to get out of it. So we don't have high expectations. We're not expecting anything crazy. Mm-hmm. This is, and Jessie can speak a little bit more to this if she wants, but like, it's not for like this extreme weight loss, weight gain thing. So like none of that. It's purely just something that we've talked about, and we both have intuitively kind of like wondered what that would like feel like, and also just like how we would go about it. For me, especially, I feel like just like exploration.
Yeah, and I think for me, I don't know that we've ever gone in depth on this channel about some of the health issues that we've dealt with. I've mentioned that I have Hashimoto's, I have thyroid issues, and I've been on pretty much every diet in the books, and some of them have helped, some of them have made me feel worse, and just all of these things. And the one diet, the space that I have never ventured into is vegetarianism or veganism. And if anybody's watching this who has thyroid issues, they kind of, most medical doctors or holistic dietitians, that kind of stuff, tell you not to be vegan when you have a thyroid issue. And for me, I've just never really understood that, and it hasn't sat with me that it's 100% truth. Kind of just like when I've been kind of pushed into the space of like keto or eating really high protein, really high fat is really good for your thyroid. I actually haven't felt as good. So I'm kind of going against what I'm told to do and just going to try and see what happens, because for me, my thyroid health is top of the food chain for me. So like if I start to feel badly, then I will start to eat meat again. Like if we're midway through this challenge and I feel really tired and I'm having a lot of thyroid symptoms, I'll add meat back in. So it's not something that I'm gonna like endanger my health for, but I just have this weird nudge to try it, and then it might help. Again, would I love to be able to like lose all this weight that I've gained? Of course, but I actually am wondering if it will nudge a little bit my body to see like what's happening there, because I truly think that some of the inflammation that I deal with does come from animal product. So we'll see. That's kind of like, for me, I want to see how I feel. I want to get better at incorporating more vegetables into what I eat. And I want to see if like this is just me wanting to try something, or if it's actually intuitively like what my body is asking for, because I think that's what it's asking for. But
because I used to be like a full-blown carnivore, it's been interesting for me to go like more heavily plant-based in the past year or two. And what I mean by that specifically is like I'll usually have one meal a day that has meat in it and the others are plant-based. But I really enjoy the flavors that come with fruits and veggies, and you just feel like lighter and you don't have kind of this like heaviness after a meal. I don't know. So it's just like just going a little bit more in that direction of like, oh, these things feel really good and seem really good. Can I make this better? Or is that too extreme? And like what I've been doing is that kind of where I fall optimally. Our final topic then is, how are we going to go about doing this? Like I've said, we have already like kind of been putting pieces in place recently in the past few months, because we're just like trying to eat more plant-based in general without knowing that we were going to try this. But so we already kind of have those pieces in place. I guess I would say the initial things are making sure that we have stuff prepped ahead of time on the weekend, which we've been doing a better job of recently. Even having things for lunches. A lot of times during the week we'll make dinner, because like I can set aside time and do that at the end of the day. But lunches are more or less something that we need prepped. Yeah.
We're both really busy during the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I follow a couple of like vegan YouTubers and bloggers and stuff like that. So I think that there's like some recipes and just knowledge that I've gotten from watching those channels that I think will be helpful. And then like Benjamin said, just a lot of prep and a lot of paying attention to like how the food makes us feel. And we're also understanding that we have two very different body types. So it easily could be that Benjamin feels great on this and I don't, or vice versa. And so we'll obviously have to work on that, like as a family, how that's going to work for us. And then like if there is meat products or animal products that we want to reincorporate into our diet afterwards, then we'll figure that out. And I think too, I've heard a lot of people say that when they started veganism, they kind of slowly went into it, whereas we're kind of like jumping right in. But I think for us, the whole point is to like try it out. If even after a few weeks we don't feel great, or, you know, Benjamin really wants honey, or like, I don't know, I really feel like I need red meat around my period or something like that, then we'll kind of go from there. So it's like a very relaxed challenge, which is helpful for me, having been someone that's like constantly put on these really strict diets. As soon as I put myself on a strict diet, then I want everything that I can't have. So if this is much easier, I'm just gonna go off of like what feels good, I think. So for me, the biggest challenge is getting in more vegetables, not just eating rice or pasta every night, which will be the default. And then being prepared for sure is huge.
Yeah, and I was going to say the other part of like preparation and making sure we have things so that we're not defaulting to eating just straight up carbs, is we will be getting a couple snacky type things from Thrive Market probably. So I don't know. We might talk about those things in future videos or something. We'll leave it up to the master here to figure out what we're gonna share.
So we'll kind of share with you guys how it's going and how we feel afterwards, and we'll share maybe like what we eat in a day or a week or any recipes that we come up with. But if there's anything else that you want to see from us or about our journey or why we're doing it or how it's going, anything like that, just let us know in the comments below.
I think that's it. We'll just try to share the good and the bad and the ugly.
Yeah. So thanks so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you in the next video.
Later.